All right, bro, you got to do this intro because your movie,
My movie, my time to shine.
your time.
Welcome back.
I am reclaiming
Oh,
my time.
oh, oh. Anyways, before I got rudely interrupted, welcome back, everybody, to this
You're
week's.
reclaiming your time.
Oh my goodness, I can't get through an intro without being interrupted. Okay, welcome back, everyone, to episode number 18. And in this
Let's
week's
go.
And in this week's episode, we are talking about the infamous superhero movie,
Very infamous.
The Green Hornet, starring Seth Rogen. And before we get into our movie review,
Yeah,
uh,
fuck Kato. Whoever plays Kato, just fuck him. This
Kato,
movie only stars Seth Rogen.
yeah, only Seth Rogen. He's literally the star and shining bright.
He is the Hornet.
He's the Green Hornet. Spoiler alert. But before we get into it, bro, what have you been watching? What is new in life with you?
I've actually been eager to talk to you about this because I have watched a couple new things, but the
Uh
main
huh.
thing I want to talk to you about was this new manga I'm reading. I might have sent it to you. Did I
Oh
send it
yeah,
to
yeah,
you? Like
yeah.
that link?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, so
I
that
did not click it.
I was I know you didn't. I was randomly scrolling and I saw like this award given to this manga. It said versus wins like best new shonen of something. And I was like, what is that? And then it said that it was written and is created by the guy who made One Punch Man. I was like, what the fuck? One? Because One is a good artist. He's made Mob Psycho, not artist, but like he's an amazing writer to me. And he's made Mob Psycho, One Punch Man, and now he made Versus. And I'm like, what the fuck? I need to check this out. So this manga, I literally liked it so much within the first 5 chapters. There's only like 4 volumes out in Japanese, and there's only 3 out in English. And I immediately went to Amazon and bought 3 volumes. And
Damn.
I was in the middle. It's because I was in the middle of reading, bro. Get this. I was in the middle of reading. I immediately thought, oh, fuck, there's volumes out. This is a new manga. I just started reading it. I always like read past the volumes and I don't want to purchase all the ones to catch up. But if I purchase in the beginning, I could read physical, and you like read that way.
Yeah.
And so I purchased all 3 volumes and I'm like, I would just like read up to where I'm at. And then after I purchased all 3, I thought, wait a second. What chapters like are in the volumes? And I looked, and so I was in the middle of chapter 14. And so I was like, when does the 3rd volume end? Because that's the last volume. And I looked, and that volume ends on chapter 14. So I literally read all
Oh,
3 books
perfect.
already. No, that's not perfect because I purchased them for nothing. And I was like, damn it, I wanted to
Oh.
read it like for the first time physical. But yeah, the manga is like really, really good.
So what's
You
it
want to know
about?
what like I was about to ask, do you want to know or do you want to read first?
I probably would not get around to reading it. So what is it about?
Okay, so basically in the beginning, it starts off with these heroes are going off to fight the demon lords because they're like on the brink of extinction and they're like, this is our final mission to like claim humanity. And so we follow the main character and they send out like 100 heroes. And the main character on the way to his journey, it takes him a year to get to the demon's castle. He just hears about every single hero dying and being slaughtered, being mind controlled, getting taken over, and he finally gets to his castle and he's like, I'm going to do this. And he gets destroyed. He gets fucked up. He loses easily. Like the villain, it's as if he went to fight like a Muzan from like Demon Slayer. Like that was his
Yeah.
first demon he went to fight. And after he gets fucked up, he gets like kicked out of the castle because he gets his arm like ripped off and everything. And he wakes up after being unconscious and he finds his brother who's a mage. Like he has a staff and he can do like teleportation jutsus. And he's like, brother, listen. It turns out that I've been on a mission with the other mages for a whole year, and we put teleportation magic all over the whole world, and we're going to teleport to a different world so that they can save us from the demons. And he's like, what? And then they do it, and they teleport to the other world, and these people show up who look like Halo people, like they're from Halo.
Yeah.
Like they have all this armor and guns and they gun down the demons and they're like, oh my God, we're saved. And then they step up to them and they're like, we're so glad we meet you guys. Our world is on the brink of extinction. We need your help. Can you save us? And it's like they're dealing with AI robots who are taking over their world. So they just invited a world that was also going extinct. And then comes to find out that it wasn't just one world, but 13 different worlds that were going extinct from 13 different natural enemies of humans were merged at the same time. So one world has Godzilla that's like just completely destroying everyone. One world has Titans. One world has like parasites that are like the Thing from that 1980s movie.
Yeah.
And then another world is like completely taken over by God itself, and like it's just so interesting seeing the different villains and like the variety of fights in this manga. I love it, and I'm already caught up because there's only like 25 chapters, but it's so fire. Anyone listening, I highly recommend reading it. Xander read it, and he's also like caught up. He immediately read like all the chapters as well.
Kind of
So
a multiverse type of vibe where they go from like one world.
yes and no. Yes and no, because it is a bunch of worlds, but all the worlds merged into one. So they don't teleport between worlds, but like it morphed into one world. So like where they thought was a desert is now like the forest of that one world that's taken over by nature. And then where they like everybody teleports into one world. So it's now like a free for all, like a battle royale basically of like not just like all the humans, but every single villain is also like, who the fuck are you? And they start going at each other, and it's like super interesting seeing like the different fight scenes and how powerful everyone is.
Is it like, you know how you said they were Halo looking? So does that mean when they go to each different world, there's like a different type of style or like how the characters look, or do they all look kind of the same?
Yeah, 100%. So they don't go to each world, but each world that's teleported there, each human looks like how like a different culture. You know, like one of them kind of looks like the Flintstones because they're like a technological world that was taken over by aliens. So they have like their weapons look like the ray gun from Black Ops. You know, like their weapons look different. Yeah, and then one world is like Mad Max a little bit because they're taken over by they're called the Lawless. So like it's just a lawless world where criminals rule everything, and one is Titans, like Attack on Titan.
It's kind
So
of
all those humans are big.
it's kind of funny how you're saying like Attack on Titan, they're comparing it because I bet the writer was like, dude, I love all these shows. Let me put all these shows into my anime or manga.
Bro, 100%. You can like see little influence, but like, oh, this reminds me of like even from American stuff. Like I said, the Thing, like the parasites, the Titans. There's these like super cool looking aliens, and there's demons. It's that's the best thing about this manga is the variety. So like you're not gonna go into the story getting one thing. You're gonna get like even if you're not a fan of demons but you love aliens, you'll get aliens, you know? What about you? So that's all I've just been reading a lot and I'm already caught up. So what have you been watching or
I
consuming?
might check it out.
No, you're not reading it, bro. You drop you're not even a manga reader anymore. You drop manga.
Oh my gosh, look at this dude trying to make me look bad in front of our audience. Typical, typical,
You see, no rebuttal, no rebuttal. We'll
typical,
just leave it at
typical.
that.
But what I've been watching, bro. You know what I've been watching. I've been grinding the Righteous Gemstones
Oh
so
yeah.
so hard. I know you mentioned it a few episodes back, and I was like, whatever. I'll see if I get around to it. And at the time, I was
Uh,
watching Superstore, and I finally finished Superstore. I binge watched all 4 or 5 seasons in like 3 weeks, and that was like a comfort show. And I was like, man, now I don't have a show. What do I watch? And I was like, man, I remember the Righteous Gemstones. Anthony told me about it. Let me check it out. So I watched episode one, and episode one like starts off banging, bro. Like they introduce so many conflicts, and like you kind of understand all these different dynamics between the characters, which is like so funny and so like crazy that they're like it's like I know they don't have to get permission from no one to make like a Jesus show, but it's so funny the things that they do with that whole church vibes
yeah.
because it's just like what even is this situation that these pastors are in right now? Like they have like it's like basically mafia vibes where like,
Yeah.
oh, we're gonna kill this guy for the church though, and then like it's like in the name of God we have to kill you. I'm sorry, and it's just so funny.
Yeah, like when I remember at one point they're about to kill him. He's like, "You can't kill me. I'm a man of the Lord." Like he says something like that.
Like
Like
it's just
something
so funny, and I
ridiculous.
love all the characters because all of the characters are different, and that's what I really like about a show when it's like different
Hmm.
characters. Like the main son Jesse, he's way different than the son Kelvin, and so many
Yeah.
funny characters. This show made me just solidify my love for Adam Devine because he was in Modern Family, and I always thought he was pretty funny. He was in Pitch Perfect. He was okay, but played a different character. But in this one, it's like if he plays the Modern Family guy on steroids because he's just like this like sweet dude who's like I don't even know how to explain his character, but this show just all the characters are so funny, so well written that I'm just like dying to watch the next episode because I'm so invested. I started it last week and I'm already on season 3, like episode 5 or 6. So I've been binging that show. Something that I just really like about the show too is just like the way they try to like because you hear the things where people say about like mega church pastors, right? Like driving around private jets and like
Yeah.
that whole so in this
Yeah.
one, they take that to the extreme. Like they live in mansions, and if they need to pay someone
Yeah.
off, they'll pay them a quick half a mil, like it's nothing. Like yeah, it's the church's money. Like they just live in the nicest house. Every money they have, because when you watch a show about rich people, it's kind of like they're just rich. But the fact that they're rich because of the church is what makes everything like so much
Uh-huh.
funnier
That's
with
so
the
true. It gives it like
with,
character almost, like way more
yeah, with like
character.
how they're using their money. I'm like, bro, this is the church's. And then they'll be like, "Is that your car?" Well, technically, it belongs to the church, and it's
Yeah.
like it's in the church's name. And
Yeah.
it's like so funny how they say
A-
that all the
And
time. It's in the church's name.
you could tell they're like not ironically saying it. Like they actually
Yeah,
believe that
yeah,
they're like people of the Lord, even though like they're probably the shittiest
yeah,
people ever.
yeah. It's so because they always come back to that. Like they'll pray the Lord, and they always it's like
Yeah.
it's always at the center of their belief, but they're
Yeah.
obviously
They're just
not the
so
most perfect
twisted.
person. So that's what
Yeah.
I've been watching. I went to the
Nice.
movies. I don't know if we talked about me watching Thunderbolts in the
We
last one, but I
did,
went to go.
but if you want to tell
We
the
did.
audience.
Shout out the
Oh,
movie Thunderbolts. Oh,
not in the
yeah.
episode, but you told me.
Okay, yeah, I told you, but I went to go see Thunderbolts. I think this past weekend, and it's honestly a really good movie. I think I know we talked about this, and I know you're a Marvel hater, so you're not gonna agree, but I think Marvel is back, baby, and I think these next movies
Oh
are
my
gonna
god.
bang, bro. Fantastic Four, Avengers, Doomsday, like they're all gonna be bangers, and I'm actually really hyped to see what's gonna come.
Cope.
So
Coping. Marvel
yeah,
gets one
so
good movie and oh my god, they're all
hey,
gonna be
hey, they're
good.
two for
They're all
two.
gonna
They're
be
two for
good.
two. They're 2 for 2. They did Wolverine,
Oh, so we
Deadpool.
just forget everything for the past couple years. They're like what, two for
Yeah,
12? Two no, they're
dude.
like 2 for 12, two for
Okay,
15.
this is how I know you're a hater, bro. Because you can't. What do you mean the past few years? Look at the last 20 years, bro. They've had bangers since Iron Man 1, and then yeah, they fell off after Endgame. I'll give them that. But then they came back, baby. They came back, and they're back.
No, no, you're rewriting history because not everything in phase one was good, and not everything in phase two was good,
What
and
was
not
bad in
everything in
Phase
phase
1?
three was good. Huh?
What was bad in Phase 1? What was bad?
Did you like the first Thor movie?
I don't care for it. But there's 10
Exactly.
other movies in
Exactly.
Phase 1. There's 10 other
Exactly.
movies.
What
Iron
about
Man
phase
1,
two?
Iron Man
Bro,
2, Iron
they don't
Man,
have a perfect track record. Iron Man
Captain
2
America.
is very infamous for being horrible. So is Iron
Bro,
Man 3.
Captain
Extremely low
America,
critic
Captain
scores.
America, The Winter Soldier,
I
Civil
like the
War.
second one. You can I like okay, he has the best trilogy out of all of them, but that's not fair because you're just picking
Okay,
the best
see,
ones.
all before they had dropped off. So you can't
Those
even
aren't the
hate.
only
You're
no, no,
just a
no, no, no,
hater.
no, 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 no,
Hating for
no,
no
no, no,
reason,
no, no,
for
no,
no
no.
reason.
I
But,
could list
but
off all the horrible. Okay, but go ahead.
speaking of superhero movies, bro, I think we have an.
Oh my god, please tell me you watched the trailer.
Oh, I did not watch the trailer.
You're lying. Shut up. Come on,
I
let's talk
didn't.
about
No,
it.
let's talk about it, but I didn't watch it. I
Okay,
promise.
so start. Wait, you didn't?
No, but I'll still talk about it because I've seen a trailer that you haven't seen because I saw it in theaters.
What?
They released a Superman trailer in theaters that's not out there.
It definitely is out there. There's no unseen
No, it's
footage.
not. I bet you haven't seen this one that I've seen.
Which one? Okay, tell me how it goes.
He's like he's in the snow and then the dog comes and then
Yeah, they released that. That was a little sneak peek. It was like
oh
a
fuck.
5-minute scene.
Yeah,
They
it
released it on
was.
YouTube.
You saw it?
But why did you watch the latest one? The latest one has so much new footage.
I forgot to watch it. One, I
Wow.
forgot. And then two, I've seen a lot already. I'm trying to keep my meter in the middle, bro. And you know
Okay.
me, I'm an anti-trailer watcher, but recently I have been watching the Superman trailers.
I can't say anything bad about that. But I do wish you did see it because one of my gripes with like the previous Superman is like how too boring. Like they're never animated. They're just like, oh my god, am I God? Like they're just like emo. Like especially
Yeah,
Henry Cavill, he's just fucking
sad
emo
boys.
99% of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't. Henry Cavill never looked happy to help people. He looked like it was a chore. Like fuck, like I have to save these people. But
Yeah.
so I've never seen him animated. But in the very first couple like 30 seconds right of this
Yeah.
trailer, you see acting from this new Superman where he actually shows so much emotion. Like you see him getting frustrated and like upset, and I'm like, whoa, like it feels like almost strange because it's like Superman has feelings. Like he gets animated, he's a human being, but because
Yeah.
sometimes people look at it in reverse. And even after this trailer, people still have it flipped backwards. I saw comments where it was saying like, "This is so dumb because Superman is basically a god. He shouldn't be whining like a little human."
What?
And I'm like,
Have you
bro,
seen anything?
that's what I'm saying. Like, you haven't seen any Superman shit, you fucking idiot. Because
Oh my god.
bro, I'm going all out on these motherfuckers because Superman was
Let's go.
raised human. He wasn't raised a god, bro.
Right,
He's raised
exactly.
human. He doesn't even know he has powers at first until later, and he feels like he's born amongst everyone, and then he's
Yeah.
cast out, and so he starts to feel like an outsider, but he was raised a human. He's not some alien who showed up and like, what is this? What is grass?
Yeah.
What is this world? Like he was raised human first, and then he got his powers. So him acting human is essential to Superman because that's what makes him relatable. I even saw comments saying Superman shouldn't be relatable. Like, what the fuck are you
What?
talking about? Right? Like, that makes no sense. It just makes absolutely no sense.
Those must
I
be
can't
rage
stand it.
bait comments because, like, from the little Superman that I've seen in the My Adventures of Superman, like the way
Yeah.
they just show him the way because he is relatable is what makes you like him more because he's like, yo, he's
Thank
just like me
you.
for real. So
Thank
like
you.
that has to be rage bait. Like I bet like a real Superman fan, because like what did
Bro.
Andrew say about that? I bet Andrew was like, oh no, I like that, and I know
He
you
did
said
like
he's like
it.
the
He did like it. And
right.
one of the people that made that comment, there's this when Batman versus Superman was coming out, there's this reactor guy. His name is Tyrone Magnus. He doesn't
Yeah.
fucking know shit about Superman. I used to watch his stuff, but when he reacted to this trailer, so he reacted to the dog scene, right? Remember that
Yeah.
one you were saying you saw in theaters?
Yeah.
So he was like, as soon as he saw the dog hop on Superman, he goes, "This is so stupid."
What?
And I'm like, exactly. I'm like, what? He's like, first of all, dogs, they know when you're hurt. A dog would never do that. And I'm like,
Oh my
maybe
God.
your dog, but why are you acting like this dog has to act like your dog? Sometimes dogs want to play and they don't, like, they think you're just fooling around on the ground. And then he's like, this is so dumb. I don't want Superman to be relatable. He's not supposed to be relatable. I don't give a fuck about that. And he's actually the person who said that. And that was his genuine reaction. I'm just like, bro,
What?
unsubscribe. never watching your channel again. You're dumb. You're
Bro,
stupid.
send me
You
that
don't
link
know
so I can
Superman.
dislike it and drop some heinous comments.
I actually will because there's a difference between like Henry Cavill fans or like Zack Snyder fans and actual Superman fans. If you're a fan of Zack Snyder, go ahead. That's
Mm,
fine. Like go watch his stuff, but don't act like this isn't Superman, because you
yeah.
you just don't know Superman. Thank you guys for coming to my TED Talk. Yeah, thank you.
July 11th. You guys will hear our conversation on that movie, right? We're going to talk about it.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna review that one, bro. Uh, I'll give you a little sneak peek for the movie
Oh,
that I'm gonna recommend. Do you want a little sneak peek or no?
what's the sneak peek?
The sneak peek is we have to follow it up with the theater review, and
Theater review.
I will officially be buying my AMC membership and returning to the theaters, and we will have to
Wait.
review a movie in the theaters. Don't speculate,
Wait.
because I want to surprise you. Don't speculate. I want to
I
surprise
know what
you.
it is. I know what it is.
Don't even say anything. Don't even say anything. Let's just surprise the audience. But let's review the action comedy that you recommended,
Yes.
The Green
So,
Hornet.
as to stay on theme of this superhero talk that we've been having, let's talk about the movie we're reviewing today, The Green Hornet. So,
What is this
The
movie
Green
about?
Yeah, so got you, bro. Got you right here. Don't even
Thank
worry.
you.
The Green Hornet, released in 2011, follows Britt Reed, played by Seth Rogen, a slacker son of a wealthy newspaper mogul who inherits his father's empire after a mysterious death. Teaming up with his late father's skilled and inventive mechanic slash barista slash bodyguard, Kato, Britt decides to become a masked vigilante, but with a twist. They pose as criminals to infiltrate the city's underworld. Along the way, they tangle with an insecure crime boss, fight corrupt officials, and accidentally become unlikely heroes. With flashy cars and over the top gadgets and a chaotic bromance energy, the film is a mashup of a superhero parody, buddy comedy, and action movie mayhem. So, to get
I
into
have a
some of
question
the.
for you.
Oh, what's this question?
So you said you hadn't seen it in a while.
I have not.
Did you want to get into something before you go into your thoughts? Because I was curious what you think after like revisiting a movie that you
Mm,
haven't seen in a while.
okay, I'll get to that. Let me tell you just some quick fun facts or stuff about the movie. It stars Seth Rogen, Jay Chow, Cameron Diaz, and David Harbour. So David Harbour obviously been making a big come up in film recently with Stranger Things. He was just in the new Thunderbolts movie. So this movie had a budget of $120 million, and it actually grossed 227 million. So it actually made some crazy cash. Um, this one was directed by Michael Gondry. Some other films he's done is the Eternal Sunshine of a Thoughtless Mind or
Eternal Sunshine of a Thoughtless Mind.
what's that one? Eternal Sunshine of
Eternal
Thought.
Sunshine of a Thoughtless Mind.
Yeah, that one. Um, and then he did Green Hornet, and then a couple other TV shows that are pretty old. But anyway, so that's the director, written by Seth Rogen and some other guys, but I think Seth Rogen was the main writer. But yeah, coming back to this movie years later, because I literally, bro, there's only one scene in this whole movie I remember, or two actually. And coming back to it, I was like, okay, this is interesting because I never had like the greatest before watching, like my recollection of it was never
Uh
like,
huh.
oh, this movie is the best. I was never like, yeah, I love the Green Hornet, but it's always just like had
You just
that.
remember it being a movie.
Yeah, I remember being a movie. I remember it having Gangster's Paradise, and because of that scene, like I know every single word to Gangster's Paradise because when we left the theater that day, we listened to Gangster's Paradise on repeat probably every single day. I don't know why me and my cousins were bumping that, but we felt like gangsters in paradise. Um, so that's like the only thought. So rewatching it, it did feel a little jarring because I was like, "What is?" I don't remember anything. I don't remember the plot points. the characters, like what the motives were, like nothing. So coming back to it, it did feel like a fresh movie.
Uh-huh.
And I mean, if we want to get straight into some things, like I was a little like, at the end, I was just like,
A
okay,
little let
like
down.
I was like, I thought it was like a little more than this. It felt just like not good acting. I don't know on my end. I was like, this feels like a script, like a screenplay that was like at a
Bro.
theater. And I was really let down. And I think a big part was Seth Rogen's acting because like when I at least think of Seth Rogen, I think of Pineapple Express,
Yep.
Neighbors, some of his like more funnier roles where he kind of plays the same character in most of his films, but in this one I was just like, bro, he plays like this like dumb man child that's not
Just a
funny though. It's
dumbass.
yeah, like so annoying baby crybaby, and I was like, this does not fit Seth Rogen as good as like when he plays like a degenerate older guy or whatever.
Yeah.
Like it's not the same feeling. So his acting, I was like, okay, early in his career, maybe I'll give him that, but it just wasn't that good. And maybe from this is he recovered a little bit with some of his other films later on, but still, like his acting took me so out of it. So it was kind of hard to rewatch it. But I was like, oh,
Hmm.
if I'm having this opinion, I wonder what Anthony's thinking because I bet he's either having a really rough time or he's just like not having fun. So what were you thinking like say 30 minutes in where you're like, oh, it has potential or you're like already at the 30-minute mark like, nah, this is dog water.
Bro, I think we actually have the same exact like
Really?
experience watching this movie. Yeah, because growing up, I remember seeing like trailers for this and stuff like that,
Oh,
before
really?
like you're watching another movie, and it always looked like the funniest, coolest cuz I love superheroes growing up. So I'm like,
Yeah.
"Oh my God, a superhero? Like this seems like so cool, like a different version of Batman but with like Bruce
Exactly.
Lee type character." And I had never gotten the chance to watch it when I was younger, and I had heard it was bad, so I wasn't expecting it to be
Really?
good, but I expected some laughs, and I was just let down. I'm like, man, there's the movie just doesn't do, and like it's not terrible, but it's just the most average everything, like the
Yeah.
acting, the
Yeah.
directing. I'm just like very just in the middle, kind of bored through the whole thing. There were some moments that I think there was one or two moments that had me laughing out loud, but
Mhm.
I'm a Seth Rogen fan. Like I love his
Yeah.
comedy movies. He's like a legend in the comedy movies, but this one is probably out of all the ones I've seen from him, dead last. Like probably his least, in my opinion, his least funniest because it felt like he had no chemistry with Kato, the guy who
Yeah.
like they did not bounce off of each other. Like they didn't really make me laugh when they were going back and forth. And like you said, he's just a man baby, and seeing
Yeah.
him in this position is just like, and then he kind of gets away with everything. Like he succeeds very easily in this because of Kato. But at the same time, it's just like, what is this dude doing in this position? He doesn't do anything. Like just Kato beats people up, and he just shows up, because he wanted to do that when he was
Yeah.
a little chubby boy. But
Yeah.
it completely let me down. And I mean, the one time it did make me laugh was when Kato and him were fighting, and he like jumps on the table and sends him through the like
Yeah,
across the
that
room, and then sends him through the window. That cracked me up. Anytime anybody is flying through the air, like
oh my gosh.
even if the movie cuts and you can tell they're a rag doll, even if you know it's fake, it just cracks me up every time. Like the thought of them flying through the air is so funny. But besides that, complete letdown. It was nice seeing Christoph Waltz. He's a legendary actor, but
Mm.
yeah, just not just it just wasn't funny to me most of the time, and everything was like very average.
Yeah, I think that's like the best thing to say, average, because like the acting, I was like, bro, this is so mid. Like
Yeah.
everything is just like, what's the point? Like the fight scenes are probably the best part of the whole movie. Like even though the action scene, like that, they had like action for like the last 30 minutes of the movie. That's probably where
Yeah.
all the budget went to. But at the end of it, it's like, dude, like I'm watching a whole movie for like the other hour, hour and a half of
Yeah.
nothingness, and it's just like,
And it
what's
seemed like
truly? What?
Didn't it seem like a lot of the lines were like improv, but they never improv something that
Mm,
was like really funny? They're just like,
yeah.
we're almost there. Like if some actor made 10 jokes and they're like, okay, this one joke we made is like
Yeah.
absolutely hilarious, and that's the one that makes it. It seems like they just never got that joke that like was really would make people belly laugh or anything like that. Like you could tell in their
Yeah.
other movies, they like, oh man, we this is so creative, but it seems like they had no creative juice for this movie. It was just Seth Rogen being like, oh my god, just doing his shit. And it just never landed. I don't think anything landed.
Yeah, I was sad because like yeah, both of us Seth Rogen fans here and like this one I was just like, come on, Seth, like none of this stuff was hitting. Like
Right?
I didn't relate to like any of these characters at all. I wasn't like I even kind of
Mm-hmm.
like you because Seth Rogen's character was like just like a dickwad the whole time with like
Yep.
like he just randomly locks in at the end of the movie to like be
Yeah,
smart,
for no
which is like
reason.
which is like the whole movie were just dumb and then all of a sudden
Yeah.
he locks in and comes up with a plan. Um and then yeah, like Kato's character is just like kind of the punching bag of everything. Like he's the badass
Yeah.
guy, but it's like he gets no recognition at all.
Yeah.
And then like Cameron Diaz's character, I was like, she's just there to like be there. Like I did not care about her. Um, so yeah, just a bunch of letdown, and I was so sad because I was like really hyped to come back to it. Me and Kaylin watched this movie, and I was just like, yeah, it was a movie. I'm glad I got to rewatch it
Yeah.
because now I know. But some things that I did like though immediately, like you said earlier, I was like, bro, this is Batman: The Dark Knight, bro. Like
Yeah.
basically with vigilante rich boy, and then they have like the DA, and the DA is the Two Face guy in
Yeah.
in Dark Knight, and he's like cleaning up the streets, but we don't like Batman, but we kind of like him. It's like we kind of like the Green Hornet, we kind of don't. So I was like, this is just Playboy raunchy Batman, and I was hyped because I was like, okay, what are they gonna do with it? And then they kind of just like, eh, like
Fumbled.
don't do nothing with it.
Yeah.
But some of the characters I was gonna ask, like Cameron Diaz, right? Like, I feel like
Yeah.
I see her everywhere, but like I'm not. There's no movie where I'm like, yes, Cameron Diaz, like she ate in this role, or like she's
Right.
like a good actor. I feel like I just see her everywhere, but I'm like, she doesn't have like hits, right? Or am I just not a Cameron Diaz like fan or something? Because
I
what is she in that's so good?
I think she has a couple. I think that was her main thing though. She's just kind of eye candy, and
Really?
she acts good enough so that they could justify like putting her in the film. But I'm pretty sure she does have some good roles, and I'm not trying to be too disrespectful, but I I'm pretty sure she's just in there most of the time to look pretty because it's not like she's giving any Oscar worthy performances or anything like that.
Yeah, I was like, okay. And then you know what also had me excited in this movie?
What?
In the beginning they showed James Franco. I was like, what? James Franco's in this
Oh
movie?
yeah. See, bro, it seemed like Seth Rogen didn't have anybody to play off of. So when he's just doing his like his stupid shit, it doesn't work
Yeah.
well when it's just him because then he's the only
Right.
idiot.
Yeah.
He
Okay.
needs like a
Yes.
James Franco to play off of.
Yeah, that's a good thing. Like that's exactly yes, that makes sense. Cause like he was just the dumbest guy in the room at all times.
Yeah.
Versus like
Yeah.
if it's him and James Franco, they could both play like these kind of airheads, and it's funny because
Yeah.
it's like both of them.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I was like
It
so
felt like
disappointed.
it it kind of felt like they had like a badass concept. Like this could have been such a badass movie, but it was in the hands of like Seth Rogen when he was at his most stonerish. Like he wrote this movie when he was high, so it seemed like he didn't really give a fuck about like making a great movie. He's just like what would be goofy, Like what would be silly and that's it for every scene.
That's funny that you said that because do you know how long it took for this movie to be made?
How long?
It took over a decade for this
Oh
movie
my
to be
god. And
made.
that's what they came up with?
And it's because like it was, written by some before, like they say, like it was attached to this character. So like people like George Clooney, Jet Li, Kevin Smith, like, and even Jake Gyllenhaal, they all like were working on the movie beforehand, and it just got passed down from this guy to this guy until eventually it got into Seth Rogen's hands, and yeah,
Golly,
so
what a
so it's
horrible
kind of
mistake.
it's kind of crazy that first, like, if you think about just in the film industry, how many projects probably get passed around like that. Because, like, think of someone like, what's his name? The director of Superman, James Gunn.
Yeah.
Um, like, imagine if they passed it to James Gunn and then James Gunn's like, nah, and then they pass it to someone else. Like, that's just how film is. Like, a studio will
Yeah.
have something, they'll go through one guy, and it's just like, how did they land on Seth Rogen after everybody over 10
Yeah, how do you
years
go
of
from
working
George
on it?
Clooney, George
Yeah.
Clooney to Seth Rogen? That's
Yeah. So,
crazy.
but something else about this movie that I don't know if you know, it was actually inspired by a real radio show called The Green Hornet. So it was like, I guess back in the day, it was like TV on the radio before TV was maybe
I thought it was
invented.
a Bruce Lee like movie.
No, so it was actually a radio show where like there would be a radio host and he would talk about it. Someone named George Trendy and Fran Stryker. So they would just talk on the radio. It was again a kind of comedy vibe-ish, but it was just
Uh
like
huh.
the main guy would be like, a serious detective, and he would just like talk about how he's infiltrating the underworld gang
Kind of
members
like
with
an
his sidekick.
audiobook almost, like back then.
Yeah, I guess, yeah, like an audiobook, and then they made it into the movie. So it's
Ah.
also weird to like adapt a comedy show into this, and then because I bet it was a hit, so that's probably why George Clooney, he's kind of older, he probably got his hands onto it, and then it just got
Well,
passed down.
did you see that it was also like an older 70s TV show and movie, like with Bruce Lee?
Really?
Yeah, do you remember watching, have you seen Once Upon a Time in Hollywood?
Yes.
So when Bruce Lee is in when he fights Brad Pitt in that scene, Brad Pitt calls him Kato because in the movie Bruce Lee is filming the Green Hornet in that particular scene.
Okay, I just Googled. Yes, so it was a TV show, it aired for one season with 26 episodes.
Yeah,
Nice.
I've never seen it or anything like that. And I don't even know if it was critically acclaimed because it might have been just something people enjoyed. So I'm not sure if like they had to treat it with reverence because imagine if this was like an amazing 70s thing and then you're a huge fan of it and you find out it's getting a live action like revamp and then Seth Rogen is the main character.
Okay.
I would be so fucking
Okay.
pissed.
That probably explains why it grows so much. Because if it grows 227 million off of a 120 mil budget, it's probably
Yeah.
because. So yeah, I was just with my Google search. It said that the Green Hornet with Bruce Lee had a crossover with Adam West's Batman, and there's a two-part episode where
Really?
Kato is actually fighting Robin.
Really? That is so
Yeah,
cool, bro. I used to watch that Adam West Batman like when I was
really?
younger. Yeah, I didn't even know they had a crossover like that.
Dang. So that means there's a fight scene out there of Bruce Lee fighting Robin.
Yeah, I'm about to watch that. That's cool.
That is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so overall, I, uh, I feel like my movie brain.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up. My movie brain, I think, was developing because I feel like the pacing was something I was like, okay, it's happening way too fast. Like everything's
Like you
like
noticed something was off, right?
like in the first 15, 20 minutes, right? So much happens. Like the dad dies. They introduce drug lords. They introduce Kato. Kato has special Batman equipment. And then immediately Seth Rogen's like, yeah, let's fight crime. All happens so fast. And it's like,
Hmm.
what? Like, I didn't even know you wanted to fight crime. Or I didn't even know you were really like a serious guy. Because they
Yeah,
just,
things kind of just happen because they need to happen,
yeah.
almost.
So I was just like, okay. Like, very let down esque vibe, and for the most part, it was just the action scenes that it was like an entertainment movie where the action scenes are what kind of carries the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I'm sad, bro, because like I really wanted this movie to be at least semi decent, but like part of me is just like it's like I probably wouldn't watch it again after this. Like, no reason to
Right.
really
I was
watch
actually
it.
thinking the same thing. Like I would never. I was trying to put into words what to say to you, and I'm like, this movie has zero rewatchability. Like I never want to. It feels
Yeah,
like such a waste of time to put this on again. Like I maybe put on a scene, but never from
yeah.
start to finish will I ever waste my time watching this movie.
So the only two scenes that I remember as a kid that I was like, let's see what they do, or like let me try to remember the scene was the beginning scene where he's drinking his cappuccino and he's like, oh, this cappuccino sucks, and then he's like, oh, you fired everybody, and he's like, oh wait, go bring that guy back, and then he makes the cappuccino out of the cool custom cappuccino machine. I was like, that's the only scene I
Yeah.
remember. I
Bro,
was
I
like,
remember that scene too, and I never even saw the movie. I just remember how I think that was a famous scene for some reason.
the cappuccino scene when he's making it.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that scene I was like, okay, like some nostalgia came back, and then the probably my favorite scene is the end scene where they have to fake him getting shot. So Seth Rogen gets shot in the scene before, and they're like, we can't take you to the hospital, they'll know. And so they're like, all right, we have to fake a shooting. So he's giving like a press release, and then Kato just pulls up, pops him, and then drives away, and then transforms the car color into white, and then he just drives off, uh, and the car changing colors. I was like, yes, that scene is the most badass scene because I remember the kid thinking, damn, if I could just change my car color, like I could
you
get
do
away with some
anything.
stuff. Yeah, because he just like Tokyo drifts into the parking spot, changes the colors, and then just once the cops pass him, just dips. And then Kaylin goes, "Why would he change back to the black color? Like stay in the white." And I was like, "You're right. Like that's my
Yeah,
gripe. Why?
right. That's just for the
Why?"
audience.
I was like,
That's
"Yeah,
so
the
true.
audience
There
isn't
he
smart
is.
enough." Turn around, turn around,
Yeah, turn around. He just turned back from white. Yeah,
bro.
that's
But
kind of dumb.
But was the villain not kind of funny in this movie though? Was he not kind of like he's like a wannabe, taken serious, insecure villain? He's like, I'm mean, I'm bad. Oh,
Yeah,
I gotta, and then he gets like the red outfit and then he's giving his that. Oh, that's what had me dying when he's like looking over. I think Kato or Seth Rogen at the end, and he's giving like this large dialogue of like what an evil villain should say, and he's like, yeah,
yeah.
this is the last thing you'll see, red or whatever. He's just going on and off. I was like, this dude fell into the you're not bad enough scene, and he went full, you know, trying to go villain mode,
Yeah.
and I thought that was pretty funny.
I thought that worked and it didn't work at the same time because
Uh
after
huh.
he blows up James Franco, I
Yeah.
felt like that was intimidating and they established him as someone like, ooh, this guy is like a killer. But then after that, because they tried to like force him like being the funny villain, I felt like he was just kind of
Um.
not intimidating or just not a villain I thought would ever kill anyone or ever get the main character because he can't kill a bumbling idiot or get to him. So it's just like this guy's obviously gonna get killed or not win in the end. So just all tension lost whatsoever. I know it's a comedy movie, but even comedy
Uh,
movies can build tension and or make a villain like intimidating. And I just thought he's funny, but I felt like it cost the movie even more than it already lost.
Also, touching back on the plot point, I feel like the one thing where I was like, okay, that's interesting, but maybe they've done this in other films where it's like they pay off the press and like the gang members were paying off or making sure that
Uh,
the dad didn't print bad stuff about the DA so the city
yeah,
looked nice.
like controlling their publicity.
I was like, oh, that's kind of like a smart thing that they did, and I think I really
Yeah,
like that plot because at the end when Dave Harbaugh's or Stranger Things
Harbor.
dad, whatever, Harbor, like when he reveals like what happened, I was like, oh, okay, that's interesting, but the whole rest of the movie was just so bad. At that point I didn't really care, but I was like, I like that. Like if I ever write a movie, I'll try to use that or something. Yeah, I think that's enough said about the Green Hornet.
Yeah,
On a scale from 1 to 10, how many stingers are you giving this movie?
Stingers 5. Don't even have to
Five
think. Just
stingers.
5. Just flat average. Had some laughs. Nothing special. Huge
Yeah.
letdown because I've always wanted to see this movie since I was a kid, and just
Childhood ruined.
Yeah, I'm just like, come on, Seth Rogen. I know you had some funnier jokes or something. Like, is this all?
Yeah.
What about you? How many stingers are you stinging?
From 1 to 10, how many times am I stinging this movie up?
Yeah.
On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm probably gonna have to give it like 4.2. Like
Dang,
honestly,
even lower than me. Look at this
I
critic
know,
over here, bro. So harsh on movies nowadays.
dude. It's because like you know me, when I'm watching a nostalgic movie, it carries. But this was like
Yeah.
a nostalgic movie that like dropped me so hard because I was high hopes
It
going in.
ruined your nostalgia.
Yeah, it's like meter was in the green going in, and like halfway through the movie, I'm like, this is just not it. Like, and then the
Yeah.
scenes that I did like are those like nostalgic scenes, like the end scene, the cappuccino scene, the Gangster's Paradise singing scene. I was like, hell yeah! I was singing all the words. I was like, all right, this is cool. And then it's just all the action scenes, which make up like a fourth of the movie.
You keep
So
saying Gangster's Paradise, but I have no idea what song that is.
it's like, as I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I take a look at
Ah,
my
okay.
life and realize it. Yeah.
There's no other
So,
love.
because I've been dancing and prancing so long that even my mama thinks that my mind is gone, but I ain't never
Yeah.
crossed a man that didn't. Okay, you know. So, so yeah, that scene, and it's like 4.2, and that's because of my little nostalgia points are carrying it. Because honestly, I would not watch this movie again. I probably would not recommend it to anybody,
Yeah.
especially trying to recommend any Seth Rogen movies. Like he has way more funnier
Yeah,
ones
I
than
just
this
wouldn't
one.
even acknowledge this one. Like I wouldn't say to
Yeah.
check it out or nothing.
So yeah, that's been our review, guys, of the Green Hornet. Check it out if you want, but obviously
Wouldn't
not.
recommend.
Wouldn't recommend for sure. But if you want to say you watched it, you should go watch it so you can
Yeah,
say you
form your
watched
own
it.
opinions.
Fact. And then come back to this episode and listen to it again
Yeah.
to see if your opinions change. Anyways,
Thanks.
so you said you had a two-parter movie recommendation upcoming. I'm
Yes,
I'm
because we have to
actually
go to the theater, and I know
mm,
for a fact you have never seen the
uh,
original.
Superman. This is a post edit me, and Anthony does not in fact say Superman. He says something else, but due to our schedule messing up, we are breaking the fourth wall, talking to you guys directly. I guess we always break the fourth. I don't know. Anyways, we are watching the original Superman next week. That should be out real soon. And this is a two-parter, but you will have to find out why at the end of next week's pod. All right, guys. Thank y'all. Y'all have a good one. Peace.